Well, we're back from tour. Let's kick things off with probably the most important news story of the year, if not the decade. Folks, it finally happened. Elon Musk is now in charge of Twitter.
Woo!
Comedy is now legal again, and the shackles are off. And it's time for some brave truth telling to happen on Twitter, and we will not be censored. We will not be censored because Elon Musk is at the reins.
Patriots are in control.
Yes, Patriots are in control. Finally, truth and comedy are coming back to everyone's favorite website. Although all I've been seeing this week is a lot of whining about people who saying like, oh, Twitter's dead, we need to move to a different website, blah, 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 all this shit. And I guess what I'm saying, I know it's only the first week, but I haven't noticed anything different.
Well, I feel that my shadow ban has finally been lifted.
Oh.
I'm not being throttled anymore. Also, my Havana syndrome has cleared up, so I'm very happy about it.
Did you see the Jews was trending the other day? That's cool. Just the Jews.
I thought it would be funnier. I thought Twitter with Elon at the head would be a funnier Twitter. It's not. It seems sad.
Well, everybody's just freaking out because everybody this whole thing is actually very instructive because it's people desperately wanting the world to end so that they don't have to go to work anymore or log on to Twitter anymore. Like,
well, frankly, I agree.
Nobody has any faith that they have the willpower to like change or be a different person. But if Elon destroys Twitter, then they don't have to. They get it changed for them, and that's I think why it's all secret wishing. Like, oh please release me. But I'm afraid. I'm sorry. There's no escape. There's nowhere else to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's the demand for the space, and that means that people are going to need to fill it.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like the immediate issues are one, Matt, as you already outlined. All of us have been unshadow banned, so I've seen my follower count skyrocket. I've seen my posts. My posts are doing numbers like they've never done before because I'm finally stopped from being censored. No, I gotta say, if anyone has ever complained about shadow banned, it's because your posts suck. You're a fucking loser. Nobody cares. No one's throttled you. You should tie a belt to a doorknob and throttle yourself. How about that?
You should consider doing better posts.
Yeah, it is only the most annoying pedants in the world who I mean, like, look, if they have been shadow banned, good. Have I been shadow banned? No, but I'd like to be. If Elon's listening, I would love you to like half my follower count. I would love my posts to be seen by like a maximum of 10 people. That would be good for me.
I mean,
then
it'd be
the other
healthy
thing,
mentally.
Well, then we could go back to the way like when Twitter was the Wild West and you could just tweet death threats at journalists and without getting like a little pop-up being like, is your mental health okay? Or like, do people, most people don't tweet like this. But most people should be tweeting like that, is my take.
Yeah, most people don't respond to Jonathan Chait with a gif of a Gatling gun, but I'm not most people. I'm built different. And I guess like the other issue is this whole sort of like a subscription tier for blue checks, which once again doesn't affect me at all. I don't give a shit. I've never had a blue check. Don't want one. Not going to be paying $8 a month to get one. However, I would pay a discrete $8 service charge per death threat I'm allowed to send. That's a moneymaker.
You would pay $20 to $30 per death threat that you were allowed to send.
The paid for verification thing is pretty interesting because he pitches it as this democratizing force. Like, oh, the fancy blue checks aren't going to rule over you anymore because anybody can have a blue check. But of course, that means that the blue check becomes completely worthless. So there's no reason to buy it unless you're a total one of the Elon boy dipshits, who probably like just send him a check every month anyway, just to support his general vibe because they think he's the future of humanity. So there's no money there. I do think though there is a play here. If he can hold on to the company without it just falling to pieces like a fucking like the Blues Brothers mobile at the end of the movie, what will eventually happen is that if you aren't verified, the site will be basically unusable. You will be so inundated with spam and bullshit that there isn't even a timeline. There's just catheter ads up and down the thing, and like you got to scroll for 5 minutes to get to a post. But if you have
we're all
that
getting older.
$8 verification thing, There's only a third as many ads. So I think that's how they're gonna. That's if he has a plan to make money with that, because like the idea he has of people will buy the check mark, that's insane. But if you have to have the check mark to actually get the site to work, then that might get people to like what it'll be is people will look in their soul and be like, oh my God, am I really going to pay $8 a month for this fucking site?
And then they'll Chapos have check marks?
No, Felix
does.
Felix is checkmarked. He's a blue check swine. He's a digital lord, and we are humble serfs at his command.
Yeah. It's also really funny because like I got a blue check mark like ages and ages ago. Before,
the beast. She has the mark of the beast.
I got it ages and ages ago, like before I was even like a New York media person. Like during the whole push, maybe like when I was a college journalist. During that whole push to like verify any like local journalists, because the value proposition was adding value to the site by showing you people who are like an authority or a value add to the sites.
Yeah, that is wild. Now there's still these people out there with like 600 followers of the verified mark.
Yeah,
and now that'll
very valuable.
Yes, and now it'll be a different group of 600 follower people with names like SpaceX Boy or whatever the fuck, or Tesla
N-word Lover 69.
Yeah,
it's actually a pretty good ad.
Yeah,
no one take that.
Checkmark Stomper 1488.
That's also really good.
And listeners, I'll have you know, I mean, you're only listening to this. You don't see the video feed. When Catherine said New York media person, I don't know why, but she took her thumb and forefinger and placed it against her forehead and nose like that.
I did not do that. I did not do that.
Someone's been listening to Donda 2.
No, I mean, Catherine's always trying to get me to watch, you know, like TV shows and movies that she wants to watch. And she was like, I heard about this great documentary that Kyrie Irving recommended. And I got to say, it had some interesting points.
You were like, I've already seen it.
I have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. It's on the Criterion.
I don't know. Like, I mean, like we were making fun of like the will Musk buy Twitter, will he not? Like, it's a real who care to me, because I mean the people who owned Twitter before were soulless demons, and Musk is just a slightly more entertaining demon. But all of the specific complaints that people have are all things that are like baffling to me, because like I've never encountered a problem with any of this shit. Don't care about having a blue check mark. Don't care about shadow banning. Never been throttled, or if I have, I haven't noticed it. Don't care. But also like another thing that people have talked about are like bots. Like Musk was very concerned about bots before buying it, and then people think that I don't know what this concern with bots are. I've never interacted with bots. It's never been a problem for me.
A lot of people
I don't encounter them.
It's similar to the shadow banning thing, where it's you're working out your psychological persecution complex, where anybody who you disagree with or posts at you negatively, well, that's a bot. That classic sign of a bot. Certainly not an actual person who disagreed with me. That's not possible.
Well, technically, Will, you have interacted with bots, because every hot woman who DMs you is probably a bot. Hey.
Hello, dear.
You're very handsome.
Make want marry me, Findom.
Would like to connect with you on this website.
Oh man,
hey, a lot of these bots have got some good pussy though.
If I had a nickel for every time I get a DM from like a 2-follower account offering to make me their sugar baby.
Oh my God!
I could pay for Twitter Blue.
How the fuck are you going to afford a Twitter a sugar baby when you got 2 followers?
That's not money. That's not paper.
Game up.
You got to stack your followers like paper.
I know a lot of people listen to me say, they'll be like, oh, of course he has never been shadow banned. He's never been throttled. He's never had a problem with blue check marks or bots because he supports the regime. And to that, I simply say, if you supported the regime, you wouldn't have these problems.
It's true.
Either.
Everyone
you'd have
has
lots
the
of followers. You'd have lots of friends.
Everyone can choose to support the regime. That is your right as an American. And if you you get certain benefits. It's just a cost-benefit analysis. Being with the regime gets you more followers, keeps you away from the bots. And I sure hope that Elon doesn't overthrow the regime lovers like us. Then it would be curtains.
Yeah, how do you think Chapo succeeded? By supporting the regime.
It's true. There is one thing that actually might do significant actual damage to the site and its functionality is apparently he has told the engineers that he needs to make like $1 billion in savings
That's so
like
funny.
the cloud computing and shit, which is, I'm sure coincidentally, also the nut that they have to pay every year in fucking interest on the loan they took out to
Servicing
buy
the
it.
debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure there's no
And by the way-
coincidence that they're, you guys got a spare billion hanging around anywhere?
By the way, all of the banks that loaned him the money to do this have like basically said, "Yeah, we're going to take a massive haircut over
It's
this
like
shit."
with Trump, like there's certain figures who's like they're too crucial as fronts for other things that they get to be idiots and fuck up and bankrupt things and destroy their toys, and they'll always get another line of credit because they're otherwise too useful. Like with Musk, it's because of his defense contracts and the Starlink shit. They can't afford to let him go broke, so they'll be like, all right, what did you do now? Okay, fine. Here it is. Whatever. Have fun, idiot.
Well, hey, maybe the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will also take a slight haircut because they're a 4% stakeholder now.
Well, I mean, like, yeah.
Well, if they have to take too much of a haircut, they might give Elon a head cut.
Oh! Well, I mean, like that's the thing. Is like Elon Musk. He's brought free speech back to Twitter. He's brought comedy back to Twitter. I'll just say I'll take that claim a little bit more seriously when Elon Musk, I don't know, shares his thoughts on, let's say, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or China. I would love
That's
to hear
the funny
Elon
one,
Musk.
is that all of his
I would love
fans
to hear
are like-
Elon Musk's thoughts on China. I would love him to share
Fans
his
are-
uncensored thoughts.
Free speech warrior on very specific topics.
They all hate China, and they all think we're in a war with China, and he is in a situation where China has his balls in a vice and can snap them off whenever they want. So I don't know. One theory is that he's going to make money out of this thing is by like selling confidential information to governments seeking it. So that like the Saudis won't have to send like an agent to Twitter so that they can find out, all the teenagers they need to arrest. He'll just give it to them for money.
He also like he's fired a lot of people. Like he was just like he made everyone work over the weekend to find him $1 billion to service the debt. But of course, like now apparently he's immediately involved in like another deluge of lawsuits because he apparently fired these people without 60-day warning. And look, these are people who work for Twitter. I don't really care if they get fired or not. I just think his management style is really cool and funny.
Can we also talk about like how like all of these fired Twitter employees, like there's nothing more embarrassing to me than like when you make your work not a job. So they're all being like, like, oh, I thought Twitter loved me back. And it's like, no, at the end of the day, you're just a number on a spreadsheet and you look like a fucking baby if you like mistake work for a job or you know what I mean?
Work for a relationship.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Your family.
Exactly. All work is a job at the end of the day. And if you're doing anything above and beyond, you're a fucking rube.
I also like that, like, okay, like the promise of him owning Twitter was that we could finally get the Babylon Bee their account back. And like I've been waiting for that forever because I mean, like, God,
so
they're
funny.
Comedy.
I need good political satire, but like they're not back. Hitler fan 69 or 20. I haven't seen his posts in a while, and it's just like I don't know if you guys saw this, but like these right-wing guys have like immediately turned on him because they haven't immediately been reinstated because he's just like, and then he already said he's like, yeah,
Cat turd 69.
Yeah.
I'm working on it as fast as I can.
I'm working on it
There's
with
only
my
2 cat turds. Thank you. We aren't
working
getting
on it.
69.
And he's like, I'm working on it with my new moderation panel, which will include Jonathan Greenblatt of the Anti-Defamation League. I mean, come on, man. His fans they're losing patience. They want comedy back, and they want it now.
Like he was going to make approximately no one happy with this value proposition. Like, not his fans and not the people who actually use Twitter, who are by and large, like, I don't know, liberal media people, coastal elites.
I mean, it can't be stressed enough. He was forced by the Delaware Court of Chancery to go through with this deal. Like, it was never real. It was always
a joke.
It was always a troll. I'm epically going to troll Twitter by offering them an insane overvalue so that they have to like let me into their headquarters and then I can fuck around and then I'll say, oh no, there's bots and then leave.
He did fuck around.
Yeah,
And
but then he found out because
find
he
out.
fucking he signed a goddamn contract that he was in black letter violation of, and then it's just how you look at this motherfucker and you're like, this is his plan all along. He's actually playing 12th dimension. It's like that is the only way left in America to have any hope, I guess, is to look at one of the group of like absolute buffoons at the top of a political and economic pyramid and just wish cast them into being a savior of some kind. But man, you really have to do some work.